all the Canadian sponsors. Canadian companies.
Hey, yo, hello. We're back. Go ahead.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
I texted Ryan earlier today to ask him what's on the rundown today. You know, if I had to prepare, because I was doing some world-class research today on what we're going to talk about today.
And did you, let's plug your show with Cam.
Oh, we could plug that, the Cam and Strick podcast. Check that out. We just dropped Nick Kiprio's yesterday, I believe. We've had some great ones recently. Our guest list is good, I will say. I mean,
It is.
I booked the guests. And our guest list is good. Cam's crazy, great guests, lots of entertainment, great hockey stories. We've got some real good ones, obviously, coming up as well, too. So we're knocking out a couple tomorrow. It's a lot of fun. Cam and Strick Pod on Instagram and Twitter. We do some of these fight videos. We just broke down a Chase versus Twist fight. Kelly Chase just dropped a couple weeks ago, too. Actually, we did that from the Blues Golf Tournament. Very, very entertaining episode, so check that out. Ryan, thanks for asking.
Cool. So let's get right into it. So we have some topics of discussion.
Okay.
What do you think about the Winter Classic?
What do you mean?
Are we going to have it?
Oh, I don't think
so
we're
January
gonna have
1st?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have it.
So they called me yesterday, and they're like, hey, do you want all your jerseys? And it was like,
who did?
Adidas, right?
Oh, I see.
And they're like, it's like literally like, it's like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know if I really want these.
Well, here's the big question mark. Is where are we going to be at with fans? Because the Winter Classic, like I talked to people, I actually asked about this with the league. They said they really weren't ready to say anything quite yet. Even the Blues, it's a little bit unknown. I don't think we'll even know the start date for next season for another 4 or 5, potentially 6 weeks.
Well, they're saying, I mean, he said he gave everybody this like glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
With this first thing.
So January 1st, it'd be great to kick the season off with the Winter Classic. To me, that is a fan event. It's not a player event, even though players enjoy playing in it. But, you know, obviously the alumni game is a huge part of it. But it's about packing these stadiums that traditionally would never have a hockey game, right?
I would say that if you look back at that was probably – I've been to a lot of sporting events.
Yeah.
So have you.
Yeah.
You've been to a Super Bowl?
I've never been to a Super Bowl.
Okay, I've been to a Super Bowl.
I've been to
a
like
World Series game with the
NFC Championship games.
All right, I went to the one in Detroit with the Seahawks and Pittsburgh, so I was there for that.
Detroit?
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl?
Terrible.
Oh, my God.
Did
you pay for your ticket?
Do you remember?
Who was that? Was that the Russell Wilson interception? Or
No. This is Jerome Bettis winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought you said Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle, and I believe it was Seattle and Pittsburgh.
That's who Pittsburgh beat?
Yeah, I believe so. I have to look back.
I love the bus, by the way.
I went to quite a few of those, actually.
Super Bowls?
Yes.
Do you like the Super Bowl?
No.
Okay, so I grew up a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. So all my family's from Buffalo and season ticket holders. So like my version of like growing up and like going to NFL games was in Buffalo because the St. Louis Cardinals, they left here when I was a young kid, went to Arizona, whatever. But I used to love going to Buffalo Bills games. And then they make the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, and they lose all 4. Like, it was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever
seen. Are you still a Bills fan?
Oh, my. Yeah, I am, because now they're good again.
Do you like Josh Allen?
He's growing on me, you know, but they got Stephon Diggs and whatever. Josh Allen, though, like I didn't know what to expect from him because he kind of came from like a mid-major. I think he went to Wyoming, right? Something like that. Yeah, I think he went to Wyoming in college. And just how good would he be? Didn't really pass the eye test his rookie year, and now all of a sudden he's turning into like an MVP candidate.
It's crazy.
He is. But he's legit, though.
So you don't think the Winter Class. So anyway, getting back to that.
Yeah.
I've been in the Super Bowl. I've been to World Series, obviously, 2011 World Series here. Went to the 2004 World Series and we lost.
Oh, my God. You know, I cover my job. I was working at KMOX radio at the time. My job for the 2004 World Series was to cover the Red Sox.
Really?
So it was like I had the visiting clubhouse. I had the visiting clubhouse before the game, after the game. And, you know, obviously it had been forever since the Red Sox had won. So all this, you know, celebrities were there. You know, Drew Barrymore.
Well, they were filming that movie.
They were filming the movie with him and the guy from the Tonight Show. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. So they're inside the clubhouse, but all these.
You know, the story was supposed to be
Ben Affleck,
to lose, right?
Oh, really?
So the story was supposed to be that it was heartbreak.
Wasn't it like a sweep?
And they had to bring it back. They had to like right at the end.
So everybody's like, you know, Cardinals back in the World Series, first time in years, and 2004 they get swept. Great team, all that. but there's no better place to be than covering the Boston Red Sox. That was awesome, being on the Red Sox then.
So I think that I went there. I've been to the NFL draft. It's a horrible.
Oh my god!
Of all the things I've ever been to, that's actually the worst.
Really?
Because it's so boring.
Where'd you go to New York City?
Yeah. Radio City Music Hall, baby.
Because now I was in like what
See,
Nashville?
at the time,
Chicago.
I was the CEO of FantasyFootball.com, so I had all these like perks.
Okay, we got to talk about that. Like fantasy, like hold on. Do you play fantasy football?
Not anymore.
So when you say you were the CEO of FantasyFootball.com, is this long before, like when fantasy football was not what it is today? Like it was like you got in like at the right level, or right time.
Yeah,
it's like these guys that like go out and work like in Washington D.C. back in the '90s for like IT companies and stuff like that. They got in at the right time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're like millionaires before they even turn 30. So are you like? I mean, when you say you got into fantasy sports at the right time, could you get in now and make money? Or is it too late?
I definitely think there's an ability to make money. It's just basically the problem that I had with fantasy was, and why I retired on 1/11/11, by the way.
1/11/11?
Yeah.
Why is
our
that?
last day. I was just like, I'm done.
You quit.
I resigned as CEO.
And that's out of where? It was out of California?
I was here at the time.
Really?
Mhm.
They brought you in here?
Was it 1/11/11 or was it one?
Was that on purpose?
Yeah, it was a special date. I'd have to go back and look, but
Did you get like you just quit, or they like
I resigned.
buy
and
you
they had to
out?
pay me. Yeah, well, it was a lot of things. Because at the time of my buyout, I was at Fanball. Fanball used to be one of the largest gaming sites out there.
Yeah. No, Fanball was huge.
Yeah, I was the senior vice
We're
president.
we're talking 90s, like early 2000s, late 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah, it was big.
Fanball, man. Wasn't that like out of Vegas or no?
It was all over. It was out of Minneapolis, and then we moved it here. We were in a little.
How do you get into that? Like, what was your interest? Like, were
So
you a
at
smart
the
computer
time,
guy or
yeah.
or a sports guy?
So the time I was in the Navy,
Okay.
so I started playing. This is in '90s.
Playing
early
fantasy
90s,
sports.
Playing fantasy with my buddies. Then I started my own company called Fantasy Asylum. It's where all the crazies hung out.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool.
Okay.
And we were like one of the first like information sites on the internet.
Really?
So we were going like with football guys. We were kind of growing really fast. And then I merged my company with and became the CEO of Fantasy Football.
Wow. I love hearing these success stories. Now, did you ever envision fantasy sports getting to where it is today?
I don't think it's actually as big as people think it is.
Okay, now explain that.
I believe
most
that
people think everybody. Honestly, if there was no fantasy football, like I don't play all other fantasy sports. Like I've played fantasy basketball in the past.
Yeah.
I've played fantasy baseball.
No one plays that.
I actually love fantasy NBA, but I've played fantasy baseball. I've played fantasy hockey in the past. It gets too much, whatever. Yeah. Like you get a little older, you're like, okay, I can't be like, I don't need like 20 fantasy teams. I need one.
Yeah.
Like the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, he's not the GM of like other teams.
Yeah,
right? He's got one team. So I focus on that, but you don't think it's as big as?
I think it's big. Don't get me wrong. I believe it's very massive. There's a lot of male audience. Mm-hmm. I think some of the numbers that the Fantasy Sports Trade Association throws around is very
embellished.
Yes, very much so.
I will say this though, here's what it does to you. Like if you don't have a player participating in the game, it's kind of hard to watch football. Now you don't even want to watch.
So I think that what's really good is obviously daily fantasy has changed the way.
Like DraftKings and all that?
DraftKings and FanDuel have changed.
Is that legal, illegal? I never understand that.
That's legal. So Fanball created the first one of the first ones ever.
So Fanball technically was what DraftKings is today.
Their Snapdraft was.
Okay.
And it was me and Rick Cordella sitting down at J-Box in Clayton and writing it on a napkin.
Really?
How to play 1v1, one versus your friends, play in like a live session, play like that. It was more like that kind of thing. And then we developed the software. And then if you listen to the FanDuel guy, he'll actually tell you that he basically just stole Snapdraft's idea and didn't raise money.
Really?
Yeah.
No like lawsuit, nothing like that. No. Were you a smart computer guy? Like when you say you developed the software, like who's doing that?
Oh, we had a whole team. Fanball had 57 employees.
So Fanball. So if you didn't have Fanball, is there a Fan Cave Sports today? Or was it the next step?
That's just, Fan Cave it was my passion project, right?
Which was what? Like the apparel and merchandise and all that?
That's a longer story for another radio show.
Okay, well, let's say that for next week.
But no.
But I get intrigued by that. See, I always like to hear the backstory because everybody has a story, And Some are more interesting than others, but yeah, I think yours is kind of interesting.
So it was good, but at the end of the day, I just feel like the fantasy space is just too like everyone copies everyone.
I know.
So there's nothing like there's really been no like outside of FanDuel and DraftKings. Really, like there's nothing else you really need.
So you think like Yahoo,
I mean,
ESPN,
you do?
CBS, they're all the same.
Well, I mean, what do they do?
Right.
They're all just managing your league software
Right.
with some stats.
Right.
It's really that.
But you know what's like crazy is like you play, like I do a Yahoo league, and at the end of the week, like they have a full on recap. Like who's writing all that? Like, they have like a full on recap of your actual game, how it went down, who did what, and it's got their own analysis. Like is somebody actually writing that, or is that a software?
No, it's someone probably writing it.
Really?
Yeah, someone probably writes it.
But there's like millions of fantasy teams out there.
You know, I mean, they're writing it. And it's just probably parsed for your team.
Wow, that's interesting.
But the thing about it is, the funniest part about all fantasy is I used to, when I was at FanDuel, we were owned by Liberty, who owned DirecTV.
Okay.
So we went to them with this huge fantasy project where literally, can you imagine? I don't know if this is if someone has this, it's great. I mean, I don't know.
Like Liberty Insurance.
No, DirecTV, Liberty Media.
Oh, Liberty
They're
Media.
huge. They own like Sirius. They own all this stuff. They own HDTV.
I should know that.
Yeah, you should know. So we had a meeting with DirecTV to pitch them on this idea for fantasy in their side, the DirecTV portal.
Okay.
And could you imagine if you went to your DirecTV and again, I don't know if this exists today because I don't play anymore. But you would see all the clips from all your players. You could literally so let's say you have Christian McCaffrey. You could pull up if you didn't see it, you could see every single clip that he played in that day.
Okay, I like that.
So you could get really some good sense of how he performed,
how he's doing. Like,
because you can't watch every game.
Was he getting the ball mop up duty?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, all that type of stuff.
So it was some pretty heavy duty stuff that we presented to them.
Wow. And so, what was their reaction to that?
They loved it, but we just didn't get it done.
You didn't get it done.
Yeah, too expensive.
Were you always a business guy? Like you fashion yourself as a business guy?
I mean, I just fashion myself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I don't want to work for anyone.
No, like I don't either.
No.
Nobody does.
No.
So what would you see yourself if there's is there a passion project out there that you have yet to truly dip your toes in that you're passionate about?
Yeah, Rebecca will tell you, baby. What do you think is one project that I've never taken on